To Kill a Mockingbird. I lost the count of the videos. I think this is the video 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is the 5th video, right? So the question is, allow them to plead guilty. Why would they plead guilty? Because, keep in mind, sorry if I forgot the correct numbers, but I think more than 90% of cases in the United States are solved by a kind of agreement you have, right? So the prosecutor, of course, representing the state, will give you the chance to confess and plead guilty. But then the question is, what are you going to get out of it? And why do so many people take it? Because, for example, in this case, the prosecutor maybe, that's what the prosecutor will tell you. You know, the prosecutor will get to you and say, look, I have enough proof to convict you for first-degree murder. And first-degree murder, of course, is going to have a much heavier penalty than second-degree murder. In our case here, hang by the neck until you're dead, okay? Death penalty. So the prosecutor will say, look, I can defend the theory in court that you have committed first-degree murder. But I'll give you, because I love you and because I don't want to go through the process, because it's expensive for the state, it takes a long time, a lot of energy, you just plead guilty to second-degree murder. So your penalty, of course, will be you know, an extensive penalty, but of course much better than death. Okay? You have two choices. You may say, yes, thank you very much, sir, that's what I want. And then you go to court and you say, look, I did it. Okay? I did it. And the prosecutor is not going to accuse you of first-degree murder because you have a deal with him, right? So there is nothing to be done there, you know, and you are going to pay for second-degree murder. Second possibility you have, you can say, no, I'm innocent. I don't want to go to prison at all. And then the prosecutor will say, okay, all right, so let's go to court. And then you go to court for first-degree murder. If you win, great, that was a very nice deal you did, because you go home. If you lose, then, my friend, there's no way to go back and say, no, okay, I'll plead for second-degree murder, all right? I've changed my mind. No, you will be convicted for first-degree murder, and then you'll be hung by the neck until you're dead, okay? So keep in mind that, and this is something the professor in the course also said. He said that not only everybody who has committed crimes like that, they take, you know, because, you know, your life is at stake. So of course you're going to take it, right? So even if we're going, even if the other option is life in prison, okay, usually it isn't, depends a lot on the state, right? Of course you're going to take it. Not only that happens, but think about it. Of course, that's very extreme, right? First-degree murder and second-degree murder. But let's imagine manslaughter, first-degree murder, okay? There was that bar fight, and you start, you know, you and the guy entered a fight, and the guy was grabbing for a bottle, you know? And of course, if he got the bottle, he would break the bottle, and he could, I don't know, stab you in the neck, he could kill you, right? So then you got your gun and you shot the person. And you know it was self-defense. Okay, then you go to court. Let's imagine, then the prosecutor looks at you and say, look, you can go to prison for, let's say, 10 years for manslaughter, or you can or I will prosecute you for second-degree murder. And let's imagine if you get convicted for second-degree murder, you're going to be in prison for 50 years, I don't know, 40 years, and manslaughter would be 5 years. That's something that happens according to the professor. Even though I know I am innocent, it was self-defense, there is the risk of spending, let's say, 30 years in prison. Or I can just plead guilty, and then I will spend 5 years in prison. If you compare 5 years to 30, I imagine, like my case, I'm 34, almost 35, by the way. October 18th will be my 35th birthday, so I'm almost 35. So if I go to prison now, when I'm 40, I'll be out. Well, 40? Of course, it's not so young, I'm already old, but 40, wow, there is a life ahead of me. But if I leave prison when I'm 65 years old, that's too much. That's too much. And I don't know, in my case, for example, I wouldn't run the risk. I wouldn't. It was self-defense. But if I see there is a chance, I don't know, my lawyer is not so good, or the prosecutor is very good, or I don't have enough evidences, or the evidences are ambiguous. If I don't know that I will win this case for sure, I can tell you that I'll take the 5 years, even though I know I am innocent, you know. So that's a consequence of this kind of system that you know, bases a lot on this kind of deal between prosecutors and the criminals, or alleged criminals. Okay. Okay. So remember, the Haverford's lawyer, which was of course the narrator's father, Atticus, he said, "Look, plead guilty, all right? Say that it was second-degree murder, and you don't run the risk of death penalty." Okay. So let me go back to the paragraph. Atticus had urged them to accept the state's generosity in allowing them to plead guilty for second-degree murder and escape with their lives. But the Haverfords, in Conway County, names synonymous with jackass. No, sorry. But they were Haverfords in Conway County, a synonym with jackass. So the Haverfords had dispatched Maycomb's leading blacksmith in a misunderstanding arising from the alleged wrongful detention of a mare, were imprudent enough to do it in the presence of 3 witnesses, and insisted that the son of a bitch had it coming to him was a good enough defense for anybody. They persisted in pleading not guilty to first-degree murder, so there was nothing much Atticus could do for his clients except to be present at their departure. You know, they were going away to the other world. An occasion that was probably the beginning of my father's profound distaste for the practice of criminal law. Okay. Let me see if there is anything here. They dispatched, so they killed Maycomb's leading blacksmith. A blacksmith, you know, works with iron, you know, makes, for example, horseshoes, in a misunderstanding arising from the alleged wrongful detention of a mare. Alleged wrongful detention. First, mare is the female of a the female of a horse. Okay. Alleged. Remember, I told you the alleged criminal. We can say the alleged killer, because you know the guy has not been judged yet. So we guess he's a criminal. It's possible that he's a criminal. People affirm he's a criminal. So the alleged wrongful detention of a mare. So probably the blacksmith, you know, kept the mare, and the Haverfords said that was wrong. He didn't have the right to keep the mare. I don't know. You can imagine that maybe the guys didn't pay for it, or there was a kind of obscure negotiation or something like that. Okay, so they killed the guy in a misunderstanding arising, meaning coming from the alleged wrongful detention of a mare. And they were imprudent enough to do it, to kill the guy in the presence of three witnesses, and insisted that the son of a bitch had it coming to him was a good enough defense for anybody. They persisted in pleading not guilty to first-degree murder, so there was nothing ʻkʌs could do for his clients except be present at their departure, an occasion that was probably the beginning of my father's profound distaste for the practice of criminal law.